and testing the volume. And here we go. Hi. Just did a few last minute things. Okay, the lighting's not right. That's better. Okay, hello everyone. And yes, I'm losing my voice. So I'm just checking the feeds here and checking the volume. Yes, there's volume. Yay, there's volume. There should be also closed captions. Why isn't there closed captions? Now there's closed captions. That's okay then. Okay, hello everyone. It's June. It's halfway through the year. First of all, in the spirit of reconciliation, I acknowledge the Ghana people, the traditional custodians of and rightful storytellers and keepers of knowledge on the land on which this video was created or is created. I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. it's very important, I think, especially these days with, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Firstly, some apologies. I had an event yesterday, even though it was a bit shorter. We'll talk about that later. And I'm exhausted. Everyone in the house is exhausted. Also, this month, I will be talking to you exclusively about my writing struggles. I hope the themes won't be too heavy for you, so I apologise for that now. Next month we'll have something a lot lighter. And apologies to you for the past month's slackness on some rewards, because it's just been tough. Nothing to do with you or anything like that. It's just... and yes, we'll go into detail about that. In the meantime, I'm wearing a lot more purple. It cheers me up. Yeah, I had to have my hair done last time I saw you, so, and I've got a new teacup, so, yeah, new teacups always make me cheer up. And this one here, if you can see it, has bugs and flowers and, can you see that? A bee. That's why I got it, because it's got a bee on it. Oh, thank goodness for tea. Yeah, and of course today is a miserable day outside. I actually like overcast days because less bright lights and less migraines, but yeah. So yeah. First of all, if you didn't watch the live chat or go back and watch the replay last month, please go back. I spoke a bit about street teams, and looking for ways to promote and market my books a bit more. Now I'm officially retired from paid work, everyday work, whatever. I'm trying to do some smarter things with my writing. Yeah, we'll get there. So for those who didn't see it, a street team is a volunteer group of enthusiastic readers who help an author promote a book, particularly around its launch. They post reviews and repost posts about books, and generally just hyping up the word and spreading the word about the books. Now, I would love to hear from you. One, if you've ever participated in one or known about one, or if you're interested in being one, because I need to find out more information about it first before I go full whole hog. Oh, too many cliches there. In public and stuff like that. So yeah, because this girl ain't got any budget for marketing. Yeah, we're 3 people in one house on one wage now, so yeah. Okay, so what's new? New project. I will talk about more of that later, so that's coming. But events. Okay, now on another apology is it's gone. Another apology, yes. It's gone. It's gone. I shall have to consult my notes. My brain is tired. Yeah. That wasn't what I was thinking of though. Another apology is if today doesn't go the full 50 minutes, I do apologise, because I am losing my voice. You should have heard me yesterday. Lots of talking at the event. It was a second Gawler Maker Market I've been to, and we will talk about that. Okay, so as previously mentioned, at least a couple of times on live chats, I've decided to change up the way I do events this year. It's the old adage of trying to work smarter, not harder, if that makes sense. Because I'm still really suffering the after effects of last year, where I did 13 or 14 big and a couple of 2 or 3 big events during that year. So yeah, so yes, so I'm doing one large event, Supernova, one interstate event, hopefully only one, maybe two, but yeah, one. So there was possibly going to be two this year, but it ended up being one, and that was null singusitis, which was well worth it. And trying to wrap it up with more smaller, less stressful events. So, first of all, as I mentioned, yesterday was the second Gawler Makers Market. Now, if you don't know, in Australia or South Australia, Gawler is about half an hour drive from where we live, so probably about an hour from Adelaide City. It's a gorgeous country town, lovely people. Lots of, especially down the main street, there's lots of historic buildings and historic houses. It's just, if it wasn't so far away, so dear heart would have to go further to work, and we could afford it. It'd be lovely to live up there. It's just glorious. Anyway, yeah. So though I'm still having, so I've done two of those. So though I'm still having panic attacks on leaving the house and traveling, I found them a lot more relaxed. So this is a makers market that's curated, so they try not to have a lot of repeats of stuff. It's actually done via the council, so they've got a committee who runs it, and they're attached to the council, and it's in the civic centre, which is in itself a lovely old historic building. I think. Oh, this is stress. Sorry. Sorry about that. Oh yeah. Hi. Just got a hi in the chat there. And they have it on the second Sunday of each month, except near Christmas they change things around a bit. And it's two levels. So the bottom level I think has a lot of food and stuff like that. And on our level, they do have a lift, thank goodness. They have everything from people who do really nice fudge, which I probably should be eating, and they have soaps, and they have crocheting, and they have people who do art, and they have, this time they had 3 authors. I think last time they had 3 authors as well, and they try to get a variation through that. So there are 3 authors. In fact, I will be posting another thing on TikTok and social media today about if you missed the event on the weekend, then you missed 3 indie authors that are local. So they tend to be local creators as well. The fees are low, which is great. It runs from 10 to 3, so it is a earlier morning that I like. But we have till from, I think it starts at 8 to 9:30. We have to be set up by 9:30 for a 10 o'clock start, which is quite reasonable. It's only half an hour drive, so it's not so too taxing. I don't take all of my book merch. I just take the stuff that I've made or I've put together myself. And of course my books. And it's much more relaxed event. One, it's a shorter time. So unlike Supernova and as Comic Con, the big ones, these days are now 2.5 days. So it means an extra day either side that Dear Heart has to take off to help me. I often need a third person to help because they're so big, especially at the end of the event. I can't help take down very much. So they're definitely easier to set up and take down. So we've got it down to 30 minutes now, considering when I first started doing events, it was taking us 2 hours to put everything away. That's a huge change. At Supernova, I think with a person helping, we were down to about 30, 40 minutes because we had a lot more stuff there. They also have volunteers at this one, so they have volunteers manning the lift, and they have everyone in so they've organised it. So you turn up at certain times, and they have someone directing the traffic, so they come in one at a time, and you come in, you drop off your stuff, you take the car out, they're packing stuff onto a trolley for you and help you take it upstairs, and at the end of the day they help you take it downstairs, and they have everyone organised in order to go out. So it's actually probably one of the least stressful events I've ever done, which is good. However, I'm still having to recover post-event, which is why I'm a little bit. I did the thing because I was going to do it last week, and I forgot because I wasn't well. And so I put it down for today, and then I realised that's the day after the event. But at least I got to sleep in this morning. Um, so yeah, I slept into lunchtime, which yeah, but probably in the next 1 or 2 days I'll be starting to feel human again. Bigger events takes me sometimes a week, sometimes longer to recover from, especially with the pain. Because we have a lot of volunteers with the pushing of trolleys, that helps. And of course, less stress setting off my stuff. I mentioned the event fee is less, so it will take paying fees for 8 Gawler market events or other market events or library events, because they all tend to be a very low cost, which is good, or no cost. It would take 8 of their events, which is 8 half days, which is equivalent to 4 days, to add up to the same fee that it is for one Oz Comic Con fee, which is 2.5 days. So if I halve it, it's still going to take 4 to 5. Yeah, but Oz Comic Con you can't do half that. So I'm getting more days. So equivalent of 4 days worth, if you count 8 half days, for one event to equal the fee for the Oz Comic Con event. And Supernova is about $150 less if you book early. That is getting harder to get into now too, which is annoying. There's a lot of resellers starting to happen now. This particular market doesn't like resellers. They want people who actually create the stuff. So I don't have my pins. And there's a few things that I don't have that I add into things because they are add-ons. So yeah. Now, the last Oz Comic Con I lost over $100. I think it was close to, yeah, I didn't even make half the fee, so it was close to 200. I think it was about 175 or something that I lost on the last one. The previous year, I was under by about 25 or 40 or $50, something like that. So I have been losing money on Oz Comic Con for probably at least the last 3 years. Usually in Supernova, I either break even or make money. The last one was probably the worst one I have had, where I didn't break even. But I will probably, as long as I get in, still continue doing those, because it is a totally different audience. It's especially, and even Supernova to Oz Comic Con is a totally different audience. And of course I do niche genres. So yeah. So with the two events, I have made over $100 profit on each one. More on the second one than the first one, which is always really good. And I sold more books yesterday in just 5 hours. So I looked at my thing, and basically there's 10 to 3, and probably people are buying from about 10:30 to about 3:30. So if you say even 4 hours, but one effectively half day of that event, I sold more books in that day than I did at any one day at Oz Comic Con or Supernova. And also the last Oz Comic Con, I didn't even make 20 books for the whole event, and that's a huge event. So I don't know about other markets yet. There's going to be a lot of them I probably won't do, because I think it needs to be the type of market that you will get people who also want to read, rather than the type of market people are going to get cheap stuff. There's been markets mentioned close to town, and some of them are like $150, $200 just to go to market. Now, that would blat all my things. So working smarter, not harder. So yeah, so I'm feeling pretty good about that market. Next month, I won't be at that market. I'll be at the Tea Tree Gully Winter Warmers Market now. That is one other authors I know have been to, and they have done fairly well. Again, I have a different genre, so I don't know. It's not too expensive. It's about the same cost as the Gawler one. It's local. I'm going to be plugging. Oh yes, yesterday was International Steampunk Day, so I had that as my little theme to run that particular market around. And we wore our hats, and I made up some little signs saying International Steampunk Day. And obviously, someone had actually seen the post because they came in, they straight up, and they went, "Happy International Steampunk Day." Tell me about steampunk. So that was good. Next month I'm doing Winter in July because I've got a couple of Christmas set books. So I thought I'd do that and change up the marketing and change up the signs and stuff a bit so it looks a bit different. Okay. So I'm hoping the figures will stay the same or maybe increase because I actually made more the one yesterday than the previous month. And especially, hopefully it'll increase when I start writing some more mainstream genres that I've got planned in the future. So, yeah, it's going to come down to that. But what I've found is that people who go there, I mean, Gaul is sort of, it's sort of one of those places that has been trendy on and off. You get a lot of arty type people heading that way, out of town. They want to get out of the city, so they're going to the country, but they're not going far flung country. And there's historical, so they go there often. Well, at one stage it was cheaper to buy there too, but also it's got that historical feel. It's got a sort of small country, a big country town feel type thing, and when you talk to the people there, there's a lot of people that just go past, but there's also a lot of people that stop and are interested in trying new things because they're going to a creator market where there's local creators they want to support. And the number of times I've had people saying, I really want to support local artists, tell me about your books and stuff like that. I've had some new readers. So I've had lots of new readers. So not all the books I sold were to new readers. So there's some familiar faces as well, which is lovely. At both events so far, I've had someone travel specifically to that event to see me, and they've either lived north of Adelaide or further a little bit country. So that's what I was hoping is it gives something for people who don't live in Adelaide to go to that's not a full-on big huge event and having to deal with city traffic and stuff like that. And I've already had 2 readers that have actually returned. So they bought a book last month and they've returned this month to get the next one in the series. So that was really good for the ego. So yeah, so it seems to be working so far. So yes, I'll probably plan on doing at least every other month if I can get in. So what they do is this rash is getting worse. I'm on a list, I'm on an approved list. So what they do is I send them details about my stuff and send them pictures and stuff like that. And then they assess it because they want to have local authors or local creators who create stuff rather than resellers. The good thing is you don't walk around. At some of the biggest shows, you walk around, there's so many people selling the same stuff and they're all reselling stuff. This is all people that have created stuff and the fudge is really good. And there's someone who makes yummy cupcakes, which I shouldn't have too many of, and some biscuits, which are like some old biscuits that that I think Arnott's used to make, which they don't make anymore, and they've got spices and cloves, and yeah. So there's stuff there that's really quite nice, and the food's nice. And they have One Idea beer there as well, so they have a fair range of stuff of local people who create. So, in other words, even though I'm exhausted and even though what I'm going to talk about next is a bit of a downer, it's making me feel a lot more relaxed and more confident in the choice I've made to only do 1 or 2 big events a year, one of them probably being an interstate event because it's probably not worth going for a small event interstate for me. Yes, so I've got a few plans for things I want to do next year. Interstate. There's one I'd really like to get into. There's another one I wouldn't mind, but I've just heard that there's going to be a big event here at the same date as the second one here. So yeah, anyway, so I'll talk about that as I find out more about that. Okay, digital book boxes, just quickly, I'm still working on that map. it's been an interesting month. So the main thing is, okay, Department of Curiosities. What time am I at? Okay, Department of Curiosities 2. You'll want updates on that. And I just realised I'm talking a lot with my hands today, so I do apologise. Sorry about this rash. Oh, it's not getting better. Yeah, okay. Department of Curiosities 2. Against the Empire. I feel it's against me too. It is definitely my cursed book, and I probably shouldn't say that because it's probably going to make it harder because I'm going to think of it as my cursed book. But I spoke about this last month, and I've posted a Patreon first video last month as well. So I thought this month I'll talk in a bit more depth about my writing around mental health and health struggles and stuff. So again, apologies if it's a bit of a bleak subject this time, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, I promise you. I have my methods. They're weird, they're strange, but in the end they work. Okay. Pulling words out of my head for Against the Empire, DOC2, has been hard. There's no other way there's no sugarcoating. It has been hard. I know what the story is. I'm sure I've showed you before. I've got the cards here. They actually tell me what order. See, I have cards. I know what's happening. So hopefully it's not the same thing. One other time I did a detailed thing of what was happening and I couldn't write the book. And if you talk to my dear heart, he'll tell me how stressed I got about that. Hopefully that's not what's doing it. But pulling those words out has been hard. I've actually had major panic attacks about it, and probably the main reason is because I've had panic attacks about other things as well, and some PTSD triggers over the past months, and I'm dealing with them one at a time. But also at the same time, I've been dealing with one specific author who confronted me at the end of an event at the end of last year. It's a long story, but I still have no idea why they did what they did or said what they said, because if they were going by something someone else said, that was something they'd said the first time they did it. I did not do what they said. Anyway, it's a long story, but in the end, there were threats made to me regarding the future, my future at future events. So that has really got into my head. Chill, relax. I can feel my hand shaking now. It really has been a problem. It triggered all the things that started triggering me right in the very beginning. It's second guessing myself. So every time I make a decision, I wonder if I've done the right thing. Every time I write something, I wonder if it's shit. Sorry, if it's rubbish, or, major imposter syndrome. Panic attacks. Worse so going to events since then. I haven't done a lot of events since then, probably because of that, because I do not want to have to deal with this person. I just want to walk away and not have to deal with them again, to be honest. And it's also left me feeling that some author spaces, so libraries are safe spaces for me, home is safe space, and author spaces and events used to be a safe place for me. Now there are some author spaces, particularly if I know that person's going to be there, is now not safe for me. It's just not mentally safe for me. So it's also led to, when I don't get emails back from events, rather than shrugging it off, because not every event is suitable for my genre, and not every event, some events are looking at a certain thing they want to do, so that's fine. But instead of just shrugging it off, I start second guessing myself. Like with the recent one that's coming up, I didn't get any emails. I heard someone yesterday saying, that they've got their email to go. I haven't received any emails, so I've been literally for the last 2-3 weeks have been checking my spam several times a day to make sure I haven't missed anything. Now, did it go to the spam? I can't find it. Has the computer eaten it? I don't know. Has that other author been active against me and doing that threat that she said? I don't know, but yeah, it's triggered my chronic PTSD, which I've now told is chronic PTSD. Great, fun, fantastic, and it's triggered that again. I don't think I'm going to get through the full hour. So that's also triggered major increase in migraines. So I'm having a minimum of 2 to 3 migraines a week. Sometimes I can get a migraine that lasts a week. Now, fortunately, my migraines aren't always full on pain. I've had some where literally I'm beating my head against a brick wall to try to stop the pain. The medication I take doesn't get rid of it. It just makes you so loopy that you don't give a darn anymore. And hopefully you can sleep it off. But what I do get is I can't do words. If you see my eyelid drooping, you know I've definitely got one. So the way I get blue spots, I get visual things beforehand, and that's when I know it's a migraine. I get vertigo. I can't judge distances. I run into walls. I get bruises. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that one. I think that was I must have run into something, but I fall off chairs. So yeah, so I don't call it a migraine unless I get the visual things beforehand or the drooping eyelid. Sometimes you get like a thick tongue and you can't talk words. You just forget words. I've been forgetting words. And apparently these are things. And it's not a stroke. The first time I had that, I thought it was a stroke. Anyway, so I've also been getting more pain flares. So I've had one where I couldn't move without help. It was so painful. I've been getting a lot more just touching my skin on my ankles and stuff. It makes me scream in pain. I've been getting vertigo, as I said, and one time I actually had to have medication for it because it was days before I could move. It was horrible. It was just horrible. And of course, more panic attacks and more anxiety. And you can probably tell that I'm speaking quickly. I'm trying to slow down. I've had full-on nightmares, full-on realistic nightmares, complete with sleep paralysis, which I do not wish on my worst enemy, to be honest, because they are frickin' scary. So I'm going to have a lot to talk about with the psychologist later this week. I've got an appointment. So my fall in March didn't help, and that was probably due to the migraines because my balance was totally shot. You go to turn and you forget to lift your foot with the fibro. It just and hot flushes because it's been bad. So it's not just mental health things; it's physical stuff as well. And of course, getting COVID didn't help. First time I had it, so I had the fall in March where I ended up in hospital, and I now have a walker for bad days. The COVID after Nullus, so it was April, and I had that for 2 weeks, and it was over a month before I started feeling anywhere near better, and I'm still exhausted from that. So I've been effectively housebound for months. And after that event last year, for at least, well, from November to March, I was effectively housebound. And I literally only left for medical appointments that couldn't be done online, and going to church on Christmas Day. That's it, because that's another safe place. And so, and the hospital. So yeah, I was sort of weirdly, when I couldn't go to Clunes in March because of the fall. I was sort of little bit of me was going, yay, I don't have to go out to an event and go out of the house. Null's anxieties did drag me out. Thank you. It's a safe place. It's very inclusive. I feel very safe there. I don't know whether I'll worry about getting COVID again next time, but that wouldn't have been on purpose, because I know there was people wearing masks if they were concerned, because they are great people, and then they look out for others, which is it's wonderful these days. So thank you to everyone there. Susie will be watching this one day, so thank you. But yeah, so yeah, and so that's another reason I sort of want to avoid large events if I can, but also, again, larger events tend to drag in everyone. That's great, there's lots of things, but they don't necessarily want to buy a book or want to buy a genre book or want to even give a go at trying something different. And that is a big generalization. So doing the smaller events is one attempt I have of lessening anxiety and panic attacks. And yeah, I suppose I'm avoiding them, but yeah. But the consequence, all of that headspace, all of that shit, all that stuff. And I get really angry at myself for not being able to control it. I just got to deal with that. And you have this whole thing of grieving for the person I once was. Yeah, I used to be a very people person, and grieving for the things I can't do anymore. I used to landscape the garden. I used to go and do 8 hours of gardening, 3 days solid before it hit me. Now I can do about 10, 15 minutes. I'm knackered. So yeah, it's I just hope you don't have to deal with anything like that, because it's really not fun. I think I need more tea. I don't know what I'd do without my family, I'll tell you what. And my dear heart. And the friends that stuck by me. Yeah. Anyway, the consequence of all that, you've probably been feeling a little bit. I'm in a much darker headspace, and people in my position with disabilities or anxiety and PTSD, we can be very good at masking things. So, you'll see me at events and I'm all like, hello, and stuff like that. And fortunately, you don't see, even today, I'm masking quite a lot. You don't see what my poor family have to deal with. But I am in a darker headspace, and that's making it even harder to pull things out of my head, to do things I love, like writing and drawing and sometimes reading. I'm in a good reading thing. I'd gone to reading not much, and I've forced myself. It sounds terrible. I forced myself to do reading, but once you do start doing it, it makes it a lot easier. Because they have shown with psychological studies that reading does actually help. I think the latest one, you can live 2 years longer if you read, and if you just read 6 minutes a day, only 6 minutes. It can help your headspace. It can help mental health. There's a whole heap of stuff, and I was trying to read at least half an hour. Now it's like I have to put the book down after an hour and a half, but I do that just before I go to bed to try to get myself into a better headspace. But yeah, I haven't even been crocheting as much. It's just things I really love to do. I haven't even been doing some of those things because it's just too hard to do anything. Oh God, it makes you feel, it's frustrating. It makes it even harder to write an adventure steampunk. So Department of Curiosities, while it has some darker themes in there, it's basically an steampunk adventure. And I'm really not in that headspace. So because it's harder for me to write, it then makes me question myself and then go, can I really write another book? And then I start feeling guilty because I'm not doing stuff for other people and getting stuff done, and makes it even harder to get any more words written. So you can see how that circle just keeps going round. It's insidious. So apologies to you and all my readers. I had promised to do Department of Curie Against the Empire by the end of this year. It's probably going to be next year now. So usually when I get to that point where I can't write, I usually flit off to another story project. And I've hinted at many just in the last month or two about some of the new ideas that I've got. I've got a list. I literally have a list of ideas. Some of them actually have titles. Some of them have more. They have notes, and they're all listed down because some of them aren't anywhere near ready to go yet, or I have to finish something else first. And I think that's the thing is I wanted to finish this book before I did other stuff. And that was making me even more frustrated because I couldn't finish it. So I've looked at that thing, and a lot of the stuff I've been getting new ideas for on good days have been cozy fantasies and adventure type things. So I think my brain wants to do something lighter to cheer myself up. But I'm definitely not in the headspace for writing a cozy fantasy right now. It would not turn out very cozy, I think. Although it would be a lovely relaxing balm if I could get it going. So I've decided to lean into that dark place. So I can't get the other book going, so I'm flitting to something else. So any words on a page is better than the blank page. So I might as well lean into the dark place. So after writing, okay, the story I'm currently writing, this is all a thing to say I'm writing something else for now. So after writing the Viola Stewart series, remember them? They're up here, probably about there somewhere in there. I had quite a few reader requests to continue with Jack the Rippers, so Dr. Jack or James Findlay's stories. So, anti-heroes are apparently popular. And I remembered saying something like this when I started writing Blood Ties because I was stuck again. So I wrote the spin-off Blood Ties because I was in a similar black mood and I couldn't write, and so I looked at the thing and then had the reader requests for that, so I wrote that story. It was short, so just a short one, and it did seem to restart my writing muse, kick it in the butt, and allowed me to write the third book of Aunt Enid, so Twixmas. So that came out fairly quickly actually after that. So changing my direction, tackling with that thing, a big black dog thing, did help. So it's one form of, if I can't do what I want to do, I'll try to do something else related to it. I made a few covers too, by the way. Another recurring request was to write Jack's side of Viola's story. So as I'm in a dark headspace, I thought I will give that a go and see if that will work to get me out of this writing funk. So I was talking about that light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, well, I don't think I'm going to last much longer, sorry. While writing hasn't been consistent, I have found joy in writing words and researching again. So I've been doing a lot of research. I've put a few posts up about the research I've been doing. And I think I did mention last month that I might be going to do all this stuff. Anyway, I have done the thing I said I was going to do. So the story starts, it starts at the first Jack the Ripper murder, and the book is all from Jack's point of view. And it'll be published as the original Jack Findlay journal. So it won't be part of Viola's series. It'll be part of Jack Findlay's series. So all of it will be from his point of view, and it will be him. Most of the scenes are new scenes, or rewritten scenes. So scenes from Jack's point of view from the first book will remain, but scenes from other characters' point of view that have Jack in them will be rewritten from his point of view. So we will probably get different things. We won't see some stuff that happened before. So yeah, and it's going to be longer than Blood Ties for sure. So I'm already 2 chapters in, and I've done about 6 or 8,000 words. Lots of research. Yeah, my brain gets like little nudges, little sparks when I research. So any scenes with Jack that, any scenes in the original book, Viola's book, Dr. Jack, that did not have Jack in them will not be in the new book. So it will be a new book with probably only a few scenes that are the same, because the other book was mostly from Viola's point of view, or Dr. Collins' point of view on occasion. There wasn't that many with Jack's point of view. Anyway, the cover is done. The title, it has a title. So I'm going positive steps. I have done the thing I said I was going to do last month, and I'm actually forging forward. And when I get through that, I am feeling quite creative again. So I am examining why characters do the things they do. So my writer brain is engaging and thinking, what was the reasoning behind that, and why would they do this? And that has then kicked on to, I'm looking forward to writing the next day, or trying to write the next day. I've started with short bursts of writing, so I'll write for an hour or two and do some research, and then I'll take a break. So I'm still working around my health restrictions because I'm still really knackered. But yeah, I am looking forward to writing. I've even got I've even started waking up at 3 a.m. and writing things in the notebook by the bed again. I haven't done that in months, 6 months. I haven't done that since Twixmas came out. Actually, no. Yeah, I haven't done that since end of last year. And so that light at the end of the tunnel I mentioned has me looking forward to writing lighter stuff in the future, and to finishing that book. And I've already started getting a few new ideas for other books, which are definitely lighter in themes and that. And also for the Department of Curiosities, I've actually had little flashes of scenes in my head. So I think I don't want to call it a writing, what do they call it? Writer's block. It's not writer's block, it's a slump. I think the best way for me to get around those things is to do something else vaguely writer related, try to do the thing, and then get to thing, and if that doesn't work, do something else, and then so writing something else seems to have worked in the past, so hopefully that's good. But yeah, so that's the light at the end of the tunnel, ending on an up note, hopefully, and a cup of tea. Hang on. So I just wanted to tell my patrons, eventually I'll talk about some of this. I'll probably put up something eventually about how I'm writing a different book. And I'll get back to the other one. But there's lots of stuff here that I've said to you that won't go public. I think in this case, naming and shaming some people is not the way to go. I just have to deal with the way I have reacted to that instance and deal with my own headspace with that, and just forge ahead with doing what I want to do and not letting them stop me writing books. You know, because people are going to hate. People are going to do stuff. I think they call that resilience, not that I've got much at the moment. So anyway, that's what I think I'd talk about today. So basically today has been one big apology about you won't be getting Department of Curiosities 2 by the end of this year. There's just no way I'm going to be able to write it because it's a thicker book too. It's one of my thicker books. I still want to write it. She's still got to get the thing. I think I've said before, I think I wanted to do 3 books, but I don't have enough for 3 books. I've probably got enough for 2.5 books, and I need to kill some darlings here as well, and rethink a few things. I think to get it moving, maybe throw this out and start again. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I thought I'd talk to you about today, so you know where I'm at, why I'm at, you know, transparency and all that sort of stuff. And apologize for the leanness of posting and rewards last month and the month before. Anyway, yes, so I've actually got close to the 50 minutes, which I didn't think I'd get to, and my voice is going. And we're going to have dinner soon, and I don't know what time it is where you are, but hopefully you have a good evening, or good morning, or a good day, and hopefully life's treating you well, and you're not getting ill. And if you are, just telling you rain's coming. If you are in South Australia, Adelaide, pop up and see me at one of the events. Just go to my website. The events are there, and if you've done anything with street teams, let me know. And now I'm starting to waffle like I always do at the end. I need to come up with some little pithy line to finish with. Anyway, any other questions? No. Everyone's very quiet. I can tell why people are quiet, because it's been a heavy thing this month. Thank you, everyone. Especially those people that stuck around. I can see some people have stuck around. I promise next month is going to be a lot lighter, a lot happier. So thank you. I'd love you to join me for next month's live. If you've got something specific you want me to talk about, please message me or put a comment in the post or something like that, because I really want to talk about stuff you want me to talk about, what you would like to know. But yeah, I think while I'm frantically trying to find what I need to do here, just please stay safe, and thank you, and I'll talk with you next month. See ya. Oops, wrong button.